conduct, I guess, when both players have that understanding of what's going on and that respect for each other to, you know, just acknowledge that immediately.
Because to be clear, if Nico didn't have a boss's orders, Francesco had the win on the board next turn. But look, we are into game 2. Nico won game 1 with that boss's orders, which never actually got played. I want that on the record. And Francesco has a double battle VIP pass going and searching out. And there's already one Pokemon on the bench. So this is the fantastic, I get my perfect bench turn 1 play.
Yeah, and putting a Jirachi down as well, which is quite interesting, because of course that does prevent any Cresselia shenanigans on the bench, I do believe. Because the way it's still placing damage counters, right? So
no, I think we had this. I had this argument with people before. I believe moving damage counters is different to placing damage.
Okay.
We'll get confirmation on that from a judge as to whether Jirachi blocks Cresselia. But it is a very awkward ruling as to whether it's actually moving or whether it's removing and then replacing. I'm
fairly sure, like from past precedent, I'm fairly sure that's the way it works. But anyway, again, we'll get clarification on that. In the meantime, Francesco has 2 Battle VIP passes, so again, he's very, very happy.
Yeah, that's quite nice. But we have a single Pidgey down. Now, the difference is you can look at Nico's board and be like, there is definitely no way this Pidgey's going down now.
No.
This Pidgey is not going down this turn. Nico cannot do that Cresselia play.
Gardevoir is not one of those decks that can attack turn 1 going second.
No. So this basically gives Francesco a turn to try and get that Pidgeot established in a way he couldn't in game 1. And that was a big deal. We saw a couple of turns where Francesco was a card short.
And okay, just a little bit of a sort of fix that from the judge.
That's a nice hit from the Mysterious Tail.
It is.
Getting the rare candy. It's not going to be any good this turn, but next turn you can rare candy into a Charizard or into a Pidgeot if you can get the Pokemon ready.
And this is the great thing about Mew, right, with that Mysterious Tail ability. Even if you can't use the item straight away, you can build up your hand with his resources, and then, you know, next turn you are just off to the races.
No, you really are. I've got to go back to the end of game 1, though, just for a minute. And, of course, if Nico really didn't have any way out the active, which it looked like he might not have, that means Francesco could have just stayed in the active and won game 1. Not attack and just win the game. Yeah, it's something we didn't get to because the end of the game was so kind of fast and furious, but it looked like Francesco actually might have been able to deck out Nico, and that might be something we look back on at the end of the game and go, this could have been very, very different.
But that's the thing, right? When you're in the heat of the moment, sometimes it can be very hard to recognize this because it's such a marginal thing, right? It's almost like you need the confidence in like yourself and your knowledge of your opponent's deck to say, okay, if I did go for this, will this actually pay off for me? And yeah, Francesco opting for the KO there instead, but Nico having the boss, so it didn't matter. But yeah, maybe something like Francesco or all of us might look back on and wonder what could have been.
Yeah, there's a moot point now, but it is an interesting thing to think back on if this game goes how it looks like it's going to go. So Nico is on his first turn here. He's got the Battle VIP pass. He's got Radiant Greninja in the active. So going to be searching out. Looks like he's eyeing up that Zacian.
Interesting. I mean, of course, with that Roar of the Sword ability, you can just get some energies down very early on. That's one other nice thing about it. But I guess maybe he's just checking to see if it was prized. So.
No, he's going for that. And I was going to say, double routes is the play here. Like 99 times out of 100, especially if you've got Radiant Greninja in the active, you want to go for the double routes. We do actually have a level ball here, which is going to go and get a Mew. So that's going to give some more. And that Mysterious Tail Mew in this particular matchup, really putting in a lot of work.
Yeah, kind of been an MVP for like, both players, really. Yeah, just getting all the items that you need to set up. And, of course, on turn 1, it's even better because if you can find a Battle VIP pass off of it, you are really, really happy.
Yeah, I mean, that would give Nico his perfect bench in the same way Francesco has his perfect bench. But here comes the rare INO both players down to 6. Goes back to what I was saying earlier. It is a valid hand refresh. Now, it is for your opponent as well. And obviously, sometimes you know your opponent's got a good hand, so hand refresh is good. And of course, Nico knows that Francesco got a rare candy off the Mysterious Tail. Yeah. So yes, it is an even hand refresh, but it's not actually even.
Yeah, and it's a very different dynamic to a card like N, right, which of course was like the previous really big hand disruption card, because with N, the cards got shuffled into the deck and then you redrew, so maybe you could redraw something, but no, with this, any card that you shuffle away with Iono, it's going to the bottom. You know that your opponent isn't drawing it again.
And we do see another Battle VIP pass here. So Nico has got his perfect start. 4 outs, a Radiant Greninja, and a Mew in this matchup. That is exactly what you want your bench to look like early. Yeah. There is an argument for an early Cresselia as an attacker, but right now this is going to help Nico get set up beautifully.
Well, I imagine, again, we've not got the clarification yet, but like with that Jirachi, right, the Cresselia is kind of a little bit moot at this point.
Or an early Screamtail if you prefer.
Yeah.
My point is, like, the little early attackers, you're not going for them. This is a very much I am getting set up.
And he's going to be very, very happy with that setup indeed. Oh, and actually finding a rare candy as well. That's even better, because, of course, they hadn't even fired off the Mysterious Tail yet. So did that after down and found a rare candy all ready to go for next turn.
Very nice indeed. Apparently, on this game, Mysterious Tail gets rare candy. We've had 2 Mysterious Tails, 2 rare candy. I'm sorry. That seems to just be the rule. Back over to Francesco here. And what we've got is a board which is ready to start evolving. We did not see the Pidgeot last game. Now here we see a Mysterious Tail. It's going to be harder to find a rare candy. We don't get a rare candy. We do hit an Ultra Ball, and actually could have got a Forest Seal Stone there had we not changed the definition of tools to no longer be items. Now there isn't actually a Pokemon V down, but that could have been a good target for something like a Rotom, for instance, but no longer.
It's a slightly confusing thing, right? Because if you look at the Forest Seal Stone,
Luminium.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, it's a slightly confusing thing because you look at the Forest Seal Stone and it's like, it literally says item on it. But of course, that was Silver Tempest. That was one of the last sets before we changed to Scarlet and Violet and where this new tool ruling was made. So, brief aside, by the way, I did actually just look up the official ruling, and the way it works is the damage would be removed from Cresselia and all the stuff on your side, but then when you try to put it on a bench Pokemon, it would disappear.
Yeah, so essentially it works as healing, but it doesn't work to drop the damage counters. Thank you for checking that one. Yep. We got an Arven off the Luminion, and shockingly enough, it went and got a rare candy. There is an Ultra Ball in hand. We are going to see a Stage 2 this turn, Freya.
Not just one, honestly. I mean, if you got the Pidgey down, you got the Charmander down, I'm fairly sure we're seeing double Stage 2 action going on.
That'd be pretty sweet. We do see the Pidgeot come down, and this, like I say, this is generally the way it goes. You get your Pidgeot, because that then lets you search for any card, which helps you get towards your Charizard. And straight away, we are going to be using Quick Search, and we are going to be grabbing something which hit the table so fast. Oh, and it looks like we did actually hit Forest Seal Stone after all. Off of the Arven, of course, and that then goes onto the Luminion, and now we get the double Stage 2.
Fantastic stuff, and yeah, dare I say, Quick Search, one of the most powerful abilities ever printed was of course, put on the sepia filter again, format defining back in the day, back in Fire Red and Leaf Green, format defining again, played with Charizard here as the Obsidian Flames one.
Only really sees play with Charizard, does not seem to find its way into many other decks, but certainly it works beautifully in Charizard. Now, Francesco, when it got the 2 energy on the Charizard, did choose, you don't always see Charizard decks getting a 3rd energy, sometimes 2 is enough, chooses to put it onto the Mew so that you can retreat that, and it looks like Francesco will be taking the first prize here.
Yes, and actually going to be knocking out that Mew after all, so yeah, no more sort of fun pivoting options for Nico after every single turn. Instead, going to have to be content with promoting the Radiant Greninja, it looks like. Draws for turn, but now it's going to be, let's see, what does Nico have in store for us?
I mean, firstly, we're going to conceal some cards, discard an energy from your hand, draw 2. And we're looking for Curlier, basically. We are looking to see how many Curlier we can get, how many cards we can draw, how established our board can get. Or, you know, rare candy straight up into a Gardevoir, and then play a Curlier anyway.
That works too. Of course, I mean, you could say the Shining Arcana Gardevoir is like a pseudo Curlier in the sense that, well, it's actually better, right? Because you can draw 2 cards, you don't have to discard anything, and if any of them are energy, you can just attach them.
Indeed, but you do then miss the opportunity to discard energy from your hand to accelerate with Gardevoir EX, so very much swings and roundabouts. But yes, in a lot of ways it is better, and of course it gives that really nice single prize attacker that we've seen. I think it's the 4th time we've seen Gardevoir on stream today.
Yeah,
players watching at home are getting a masterclass because we've got good Gardevoir players on stream, and we're basically like, if you want to learn how to play Gardevoir, I really hope you're watching this stream today because you are getting some good Gardevoir instruction.
Absolutely, and there's still plenty of tournaments to come with this version of Gardevoir as well. Of course, we did mention briefly there is that rotation coming up soon, but there's still plenty of other events and tournaments to go with this version of Gardevoir, so this is still very, very useful information.
We've got Utrecht and EUIC in Europe alone before we hit the road. No, EUIC, we hit the rotation. We got Utrecht at least.
Yes.
We got Utrecht before we hit the rotation.
Another Curlier for good measure, and was that a manual attachment, I believe? Yeah, and then the Iono.
Yeah, and we're seeing Iono being used as just hand refresh here, and this is going to be less fun. Like last turn, Nico got rid of the rare candy, forced it to the bottom of Francesco's deck, which was brilliant. This time round, however, we've already got Pidgeot in place, and that Pidgeot is going to be searching out any card. It is going to make stuff like Iono a lot less impactful, so to speak.
Yeah, it really, really is. Now, I think that's Nico looking for his discard. Quite a few Psychic Energy in there already, actually. Although no access to a Gardevoir EX this turn. If there could be like another rare candy, and then maybe... No, surely not. I was trying to think if there's some way you could actually reach for a knockout on this Charizard EX turn 2. That would be insane.
It takes too much. I mean, you can do it with 6 energy and a reversal energy on your single prize Gardevoir. Gives it a 9, like we say. 9 is a magic number. Whether it's Zacian or whether it's Gardevoir, 9 is a magic number. But that's the thing about getting this early aggression with Charizard. It is doable, but it is awkward. It is hard to get the KO rolling. This Charizard's probably going to take another prize or two, at least, before it's threatened.
Yeah. Actually, I was just going to say, to be fair, it would have been, I think, because Nico attached that Psychic manually, right? So it would have maybe been possible if you could incorporate a reversal energy somehow, but with that manual attachment, that's out of the question.
Now, you would need a reversal energy and then 6 energy from the Gardevoir EX, which isn't even on the board right now. That Charizard is taking another prize or two.
Yeah. Again, 330 HP. That's fearsome.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. And actually, his turn for Nico, he's still got the Radiant Greninja out. He's managed to get all 3 Refinement Curlier down and a Gardevoir. So you're not even, like, you've got a Gardevoir down without even missing out on any draws from your Refinement Curlier. This is like the maximum amount of draw that Nico could have on the board right now. This is 10 extra cards per turn being seen.
Yeah, and honestly, thinking about it, this is like a better board to end on, because you now got all this draw on the board, but there's no way for Francesco to take a 2-prize knockout because you haven't put the Gardevoir EX down.
You haven't, and this is nice, but like Gardevoir doesn't mind going behind on prizes. We see this a lot.
No.
But there is a limit. Like at some point, you need to start joining the prize race, because this Charizard is going to take a second prize while Francesco starts walking towards a second Charizard, and it's hard to KO a fresh Charizard, but this I love.
Yes.
KOing Greninja, that's all right. KOing Gardevoir, oh my yes.
Yeah, that is by far the best KO this turn, so it means it forces Nico to find another Shining Arcana Gardevoir. It takes, some draw and attackers off the board. That is, absolutely the best target to go for this turn.
That was beautifully done, Francesco here. That game 1 was so close, and so, were it not for the boss's orders, he had the game on the board. It was so quick and so close to being a win. Really needs to finish this off, but we need to start looking at the timer now, Freya, because we got 5 minutes left.
Where did that game go? So I was looking at like 5 minutes left. I did not feel like 45 minutes.
Oh, I've been keeping an eye on it, and it's because both of these decks are stage 2 setup decks, and they do a lot of things every turn. And it takes, it's the way the decks play. They take a long time to actually go through their games. Francesco needs to finish out this game. Frankly, it's pretty good he got an early Charizard.
Yeah, and of course, unlike the game we casted earlier, the game 2 is actually going on for a length of time. There will be unlikely to be like a tie situation. If Nico can just, keep pace at a decent amount, get set up, and get rolling, he will probably win this game 1-0.
He will. But Francesco
can still win this, to be fair.
It's all on time. Francesco needs, realistically, because we know Nico is not going to leave a 2-prizer out there unless he absolutely has to. Francesco needs super quick turns. Take a KO every turn. Try and take 2. If you can get a 2-prize KO, that's fantastic. But if we go to time and Francesco's got 3 prizes remaining, he cannot win. Nico will not put a 2-prizer down.
Yeah.
Francesco needs to get to 2 prizes remaining before time is called.
Yeah, it's a little bit tricky because, of course, you have you need to get down a Gardevoir in order to be able to attach more energy, but then that does leave the opening for your opponent to get a boss's orders KO. And not only that, the Pidgeot's out this time, so you're so much more likely to be able to piece together the perfect turn every single time. Yeah,
and that's the thing. That Pidgeot will get the boss's orders. It's not a difficult thing, and there's 3 in the deck, so it's not like Francesco's going to be running out in the next turn. So it is super awkward, and this is so hard for Nico. You really don't want to put... Because here's the thing, if Nico plays a single Gardevoir EX, Francesco can boss his orders, we know it's hitting for weakness, and then all of a sudden, oh, I got 2 prizes left. If time is called, I will get time to take those 2 prizes. But if you don't play the Gardevoir EX, how are you setting up your deck?
Yeah, exactly. It's a tough conundrum, but it looks like Nico is deciding, yeah, now I'm going to go for it. Does have both Gardevoirs, to be fair, so that actually is really good. And the reversal energy too. Oh boy, I think there's enough energy in the discard for a KO now.
We need 6, and 6 is actually the maximum number. Oh, you can attach to a Gardevoir.
Yeah, I think that it's there. There's 6
There's
energy.
3. There's 6. That is 330. We needed the reversal energy. We had the reversal energy. You cannot attach any more energy. You've used your attachment for the turn. You cannot use any more energy from the EX, but it doesn't matter. You needed reversal energy, but we pieced... I say we did nothing. Nico pieced it together beautifully, and right now that is the perfect KO. So, look, this is still doable for Francesco. But now it's super awkward because you kind of can't go after the EX now.
No, we didn't. Maybe we didn't do it piecing it together beautifully, but we did observe Nico piecing it together beautifully.
I still feel like Nico did most of the work.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. No question about that. And speaking of doing some work, Francesco is really going to have his work cut out for him now because, yeah, like you mentioned, you are in a very tricky spot now where here's this Gardevoir that is as soon as you take a prize, is back to doing a absurd amount of damage with that reversal energy being switched on again, but you need to race, and so you need to kind of take out this Gardevoir EX.
Because the problem is, like, one of the things you can look at and go, well, look, leave the Gardevoir EX for your last 2 prizes. It's not going to work. Nico is going to search for that collapsed stadium and is going to use it on the final turn to take that Gardevoir off the field, so those 2 prizes aren't there.
I think we're just going to see a heat tackle here,
I mean, this could be a good devolution turn. But it doesn't like it is just going to be a heat tackle on the Gardevoir. And this is why people play this Charmander.
Yeah, 30 damage, 1 fire energy, and then you do 10 to yourself. Perfect for finishing off a fully psychic embrace to the limit Gardevoir Shining Arcana.
And you're not leaving a 2-prizer in the firing line. Now, this is where it comes down to it. Francesco is going to have 2 turns. There is a 2-prizer on the board. As it stands at the moment, Francesco will have enough turns to finish off. And for what it's worth, so will Nico.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
Pidgeot and Luminion on Francesco's side of the board. So even though there's only 1 minute remaining, we could well see a winner here. Just remember, if Francesco's going into his final turn with 2 prizes left, Nico is going to be searching hard for that collapsed stadium.
Very heads up here. Nico had the counter catcher and used it straight away to bring out the Pidgeot. This is exactly what you want to take out. You want to prevent your opponent from being able to find the pieces to put together the combo for the win. Pidgeot is a big part of that. Nico is like, you know what? I want this Pidgeot gone now.
And it looks like we're seeing a bit of a repeat from last time. We've got a Gardevoir, we've got a reversal energy, and we've got a bunch of energy which can be accelerated with the EX. This is the last reversal energy in the deck, but it doesn't really matter. And we've been saying about, Francesco having enough time to win the game. Really starting to look like Nico might have enough time to win this game. Nico has no interest, it seems, in winning this match 1-0.
I mean, he can, but yeah, if he can win 2-0, why not, right? So here we go. There's the retreat, and enough energy going on to take the KO here. Doesn't need anywhere near as much as you would for the Charizard. I believe it's only 4 needed to...
You need 7 in total here.
Yeah, so with the reversal energy, that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That will do it. And we have just gotten word that, as you see there on the screen as well, time has just been called.
So Nico will get the KO here, and Nico will have 1 more turn. Francesco will have 2.
Yeah, you need 8 energy, actually, thinking about it, because it'd be 270 to 300, and you have 280 on Pidgeot, so you need 8 energy total.
Need 8 energy total. Yeah. I'll believe you on that one. But the point is, yes, you're absolutely correct, double would only be 270.
Yeah.
But here, it's coming down to who's basically got it. Francesco, it's so awkward. Francesco kind of needs to KO the active Gardevoir. But if you do, then Nico can just get a pretty easy return KO because reversal energy will be back on board.
Well, more than just that, the Zacian is down now as well, so you now have an attacker that doesn't even need reversal energy to take a big KO. That's why Nico put the Zacian down.
Absolutely, and you kind of want to take out the EX, so, I mean, essentially here, you've got to take out the Gardevoir and then hope that Nico doesn't have it next turn, but let's face it, you've got the EX, and you've got... I think Nico might have checkmated this game, you know, because the active has got enough energy on that if you attach for turn, that's 9 energy, you're good to go. And if you KO the Gardevoir, then the Zacian is just going to come in and finish it off.
Right, and of course, the way it works out, I was just thinking, oh, if you KO the Gardevoir EX, you're fine, because then, you know, the reversal isn't doing anything. But no, if you KO the Gardevoir, the reversal turns back on because you're on 1, your opponent's on 2. So actually, yeah, Nico's played this masterfully right now.
I think having the Zacian down and having that Gardevoir sitting there ready to attack basically means Nico's got an answer to everything. And Francesco has played this game well, has played aggressively, has gotten a bunch of prizes. There isn't actually, for what it's worth, there isn't actually a Charizard on the board right now.
Well, yeah, no, that's the thing. We're going way steps ahead, right? But I mean, Francesco needs to get an attacker out before anything else.
I mean, that whole discussion is predicated on Francesco getting an attacker now. There is an Arven coming down, but of course the Pidgeot has gone with no quick search. That is going to make things more awkward. I am not sure there's anything Francesco can do here, because I think no matter what Francesco KOs, Nico has got something ready to go.
Yeah, and especially because, I mean, there's the worry about time, right? Because you think to yourself, oh, Nico wouldn't turn 0, so Francesco would be turn 1. Not that it would matter anyway, because if it was a tie, Nico would win the match, but there's a Luminion on the bench. You just very easily KO that for the last 2 prizes anyway.
Yep. It's, yeah. The problem is Francesco's not got any real good single prize attackers. Charizard is not a deck with single prize attackers other than Radiant Charizard, and I don't know if it's coming out, but this will be a good turn for it.
Yeah, that's kind of what you have to go for, I think. It's it's very, very tough. Super Rod gets played. Now, the nice thing about Radiant Charizard is that in this instance, Nico has taken 4 prizes, so that Radiant Charizard can attack for 1 energy very easily.
Well, you basically need to Radiant Charizard the active, hope Nico doesn't have any gusting, and hope that you do have gusting the following turn to take out a 2-prize Pokemon. It is still winnable, but I mean, you'll also need an attacker as well, because there's no way the Radiant Charizard doesn't get taken down.
No, exactly. Oh, very tough stuff. Unless, wait, was the Radiant Charizard in the prize? I don't recall it being in there.
I don't believe it was, no.
No, but it's,
that's essentially the only option for Francesco.
Wait, oh, are we going to see a Devolution this turn?
Devolution would work.
That would KO the Curly underneath the Gardevoir.
It would KO the Gardevoir.
And that would lift up the Gardevoirs around the Curly. Actually, okay, this could be really clever, actually.
This is a very nice play, because it also takes the EX off the board, not in a KOing sense, but then again, like, Nico can still finish out the game here by just playing any Pokemon in a collapsed stadium, taking the Zacian off the board and being like, you can't take 2 prizes.
Or boss's orders.
Or boss's orders.
That works too. So Nico, yeah, not wanting to win 1-0, takes the second game and takes the match, and will be advancing to 6-0-0 here at the Dortmund Regional Championships.
Yeah.